let's get into it. The post, I'm going to read the post and then I'll try to answer it. Revelations 1:11. Jesus tells John to address the 7 churches. If there were no local church assemblies, he would have told John to address the church, not individual ones. That's the idea that the plural of ecclesia, and ecclesia is used in the plural in the New Testament. Often in the Old Testament it's used only twice in the plural, and it's, anyway, we'll talk about that. John, you would have told John to address the church, that's the ecclesia, the individual ones. Each of the next 19 times that church is used in Revelations 1 through 3, it's referring to a local congregation. So somehow it has to mean a local congregation. What else could it mean? This is the first thing, this is what I wrestled with when I was going through my church study, ecclesia study. These were the 3 tenets that I wrestled with. So, and I comment on them a lot. So I thought it'd be a good time to, I thought it'd be great to take the chance to use a video blog to for this subject, these 3 assumptions. Specifically, my friend here is, of course, he's talking about the when ecclesia is used in the plural, it refers to several individual things. Okay, this was my previous theology, ecclesiology. I always thought that's what it meant, because the word church is there. If you translate it as church, that's obviously what it's going to mean. Plural of church is churches, and you have small little assemblies or congregations or local congregations. It's going to mean that if you use that word. But if you consistently translate it the way kahal, as kahal, how ecclesia refers to kahal in the Old Testament, then you're not going to have the same problem. To talk about my friend's argument, to start off, we'll just start with, I don't want to address this directly to him, but anyone who holds to this first tenet or assumption of that you have to make, that whenever ecclesia is used in the plural, you have something, you're going to have little groups of something, and that's not always true. It's especially not true if you go to my site and check out all the Bible verses that are listed there, all the verses with ecclesia in the plural, in the Old and New Testament. Yes, ecclesia, the word church, is written in the Old Testament in the plural. And guess what? Often English translations will translate it as the great congregation. They've kind of understood the idea that sometimes the plural can refer to the bigness of something. That's true in Hebrew a lot. When the Holy Spirit hovered over the face of the waters, how many waters did he hover over? The heavens. Words like the heavens, the waters, talk about the bigness of something to the Hebrew speaker, and especially in this word. We do that too in English. I propose the word multitude, as kahal was used in the Old Testament. I propose we use the word multitude for ecclesia, and you know that when multitude is used in the plural, it only increases in size. When the multitudes surrounded him, the multitudes, how many multitudes? You can't count them. They're just a lot. So church in the plural refers to multitudes, and this is this is the first thing that I had a problem with when I was trying to figure out what ecclesia meant when I was going through when I was doing the study on my own as a churchgoer Christian. Ecclesia must refer to a local congregation because, it's used in the plural, and that was my whole assumption. And so anyway, my world was shattered there, and so anyway, that's the first one. That's his argument, but it doesn't have to. You don't have to assume that it's a local congregation. Just when anything's plural, especially if you use words like swarm, or multitude, or crowd. Those words seem to go well with the word ecclesia, and in the plural, guess what? They all just increase in bigness, in size. Psalms, I think it's 68. It has, I will worship you in the great congregations, translated in English, and in Greek it's the ecclesiai, or in Hebrew it's the kahalim. It's the plural used in both cases, and yet it's translated as the great congregation. So in the multitudes I will worship you. That just means he'll worship God when there's a lot of people around, and just declare his glory to people. And they're not necessarily even Christian people. You'll see kahal and ecclesia both used in senses which are not Christian often in the New Testament and Old Testament, because they're not Christian words. They're just words that they have to be qualified with their context to refer to something in a spiritual sense. Anyway, let's move on. How does a city span-wide region suddenly turn into a local congregation? I have no idea how